Hey guys, what's going on? This is Bikini Gamer here. First things first, I just want to say thank you for all the positive feedback, all of your subscriptions, likes, and comments. I really appreciate it, and it has encouraged me to continue uploading videos. In today's video, I will be sharing with you what I think is the best build for the Striker Titan subclass in PvP and PvE.
Looking at the first column and the three different grenades, we start with the flashbang grenade. The description states an explosive grenade that disorients the enemies that it damages. As far as this grenade, I have found it to be quite useful in PvE, when facing horde enemies such as the Thrall, and overall any type of melee enemy. Moving on to the next grenade, Pulse Grenade, which states a grenade that periodically damages enemies inside its explosion radius. I find this grenade to be pretty weak and very situational. Most of the time, I find that grenade is pretty hard to land, and most enemies avoid it like the plague. Last but not least, we have Lightning Grenade. Its description states a grenade that sticks to any surface, periodically emitting bolts of lightning. By far, this is my favorite grenade of all. The thing is just OP. The damage over time in PvP is deadly, with only 2 to 3 ticks to kill an enemy, and just 1 if you've already done damage. It's also great for isolating choke points. As far as PvE goes, I find it being a toss-up between Lightning Grenade and Flashbang Grenade. In my opinion, they are both extremely great at giving you some breathing room, especially when you find yourself outnumbered. Moving on to the next column. You have your jump, known as lift, which comes with the perks increased height, increased control, and catapult. In my opinion, the Titan jump in PvP is one of the worst, and I generally stick to catapult, as it helps me carry momentum when shoulder charging. In PvE, increased height is my choice, as the Titan is much more agile and definitely helpful in the Vault of Glass. On the following column is your super, Fist of Havoc, with the options of Aftermath, which leaves a damage-dealing field, or Death from Above, which allows you to aim a Fist of Havoc after jumping. And finally, Shockwave, which releases a wave of energy that travels through the ground. In PvP, I find each of them to be useful, depending on the map or playlist I'm playing. Aftermath, for example, is great in control for eliminating zone enemies and allowing time to capture the control point. Death from Above is awesome for larger maps, as it is one of the perks that becomes deadlier the higher you are. Generally in PvP, I stick to Shockwave, as it is the perk that is most well-rounded. It gives you that extra edge when enemies are a bit too far or away from you. The same goes for PvE. On the following columns, you have your stat builds. I generally feel that your stat builds should suit your playstyle. For example, if you're a shotgun user, I would max out armor and agility. I would do this by choosing Titan Codex 2, Transfusion, and Titan Codex 6. You could also choose Headstrong, but I'd rather have Transfusion for the health regen. For my sniper build, I choose Titan Codex 1 to increase my armor, Titan Codex 4 to keep increasing my armor and recovery. On the last column, we have Unstoppable, which makes you harder to kill when using Fist of Havoc. Shoulder Charge, which allows you to tackle people after a long sprint. Last perk being Juggernaut, which grants you a shield after a short sprint. Out of these 3 perks, Shoulder Charge is the best for PvP and arguably for PvE. Juggernaut has been utterly useless. Usually the shield doesn't protect you much at all. The duration is way too short, and it can be easily taken down by most guns. Unstoppable is very situational, as it requires you to have your super for it to be of any use. In conclusion, with the lack of speed in a Titan, I tend to focus on an agility build to help balance out my character.
Thank you for listening. Be on the lookout for my next video. If you guys have any comments or questions, please comment below. Should have another video coming up soon. Follow me on Instagram at BikiniGamer99. As always, game on. Ciao.